एजेंसी क्या है? रॉ, आईबी और पाकिस्तान का वो तो नहीं भूलो कभी। और क्या है? सीआईए और एमआई। एनीबडी सेइंग मिशन इम्पॉसिबल? और भी है, मोसाद है, बहुत अलग अलग नाम है। चाइना का तो किसी नोबडी नोज द नेम ऑफ द चाइनीज एजेंसीज। चाइनीज एजेंसी का तो नाम भी क्लियर नहीं है। सो दे आर फार बेटर देन अस। उनका नाम ही क्लियर नहीं होता किसी को। मोसाद इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इफेक्टिव वन, आईएसआई इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इफेक्टिव वन, केजीबी रशियंस वाला, हाँ वो भी बहुत इफेक्टिव है। व्हेन यू हैव अ लॉट ऑफ मनी तो आपका स्पाई वर्ड आराम से हो जाता है, बिकॉज इन एवरी कंट्री एवरीबडी वांट्स टू हैव सम मनी। यू कैन बाय द पीपल, दे कैन सर्व फॉर यू। रिसेंटली हमने देखा साइंटिस्ट वगैरह कुछ कर रहे थे। So, epistemic fiction is also the part of literature, and that I will teach you in postmoderns. Moderns में भी आएगा, but primarily postmoderns में आएगा. So, as we have taken a reference, we have to deal with John Donne. I'll make it easy again that we have to deal with John Donne, but let's see. So, this reference, just write down this: Agatha Christie, the mother of crime fiction. I will teach you this writer. Agatha Christie. This is the best thing about the references. जहाँ से जो याद आए उसे कनेक्ट कर लो. Episteme is fiction. Agatha Christie कौन है? Hope you understood. Episteme is fiction, spy novels, spy books, spy worlds, जासूसी से related. Agatha Christie is called mother of crime fiction. She used to deal with murders where the murderers are not found. It is impossible to trace the killer. Then Agatha Christie, she used to write these kind of novels, these kind of works. Agatha Christie has her famous hero, Hercule Poirot, a repeated question of exam. A girl with him, obviously एक लड़की भी होगी, heroine होगी, Miss Marple. ये questions exam के, these are the questions. Because after during Victorians and the moderns, the wars became something frequent. So knowing each other's strategy, knowing each other's army plantation, army arrangements and all those things, secrets, weapons, strategy, ideas, they used to go for spies. And it's not a new tradition, it's an old tradition. Christopher Marlowe was a spy, Aphra Behn was a spy. But then it became the part of fiction. People started reading these things, and there is still a kind of genre or people, they actually love to read these kind of books. आप देखोगे बॉयज बहुत सारे ऐसे होंगे, वी लव वॉचिंग जेम्स बॉन्ड. सो जेम्स बॉन्ड इज नॉट जस्ट अ मूवी, इट इज ऑल्सो अ बुक. Who will tell me who used to write James Bond series? No idea. Okay, Kingsley Amis has also written James Bond. There are many writers, they have written for James Bond. The famous one, the known one is Kingsley Amis. He has written James Bond dossiers. James Bond dossiers, Kingsley Amis. You must be knowing Sherlock Holmes. वो किसने लिखा था? Arthur Conan Doyle. And there are questions like this, that which one is the first detective story? Which one is the first detective novel? ये भी questions exam के. So just wanted to tell you with this reference that this is also the part we're going to study. ये हम पढ़ेंगे. Kingsley Amis, James Bond dossier. और बहुत writers हैं, James Bond में बहुत writers हैं. Kingsley Amis is one of the most recognized one. He's the writer. The name of his book is Sherlock Holmes series. We can simply say he has written a lot of other books. The Man Who Was Never Murdered, this kind of stories he has written. But the hero is Sherlock Holmes. And the question in exam was that the hero of, these are the repeated heroes. They are fixed hero. Like James Bond series, James Bond is the hero. Sherlock Holmes, who is the hero. The question in exam was name of his assistant. Mr. Watson. Mr. Watson. So sometimes you know Sherlock Holmes, but you don't know Mr. Watson. It can be a question. There are many others. Edgar Allan Poe is the first detective writer. Then William Wilkie Collins has written the first detective story, which is called the first ever detective novel, TSC let us call that. I will teach you all these things. Arthur Conan Doyle. Yeah, he's the main author, main character. So we technically call them Sherlock Holmes series. They have written 20-25 books. So every book has one hero, Sherlock Holmes. हाँ, Adventures of Sherlock Holmes ऐसे करके हाँ कुछ भी नाम आएगा. Normally, instead of going for the names, the people who love these people, they love the characters. If you watch Hollywood movies, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, he plays the role of Sherlock Holmes. Agatha Christie, अभी recently movie आई थी, The Murder in the Orient Express, The Murder of Rosa Ackroyd. These kind of books are they're also the part of post-metafiction style. ये उनके narrations में आता है. Got it? So that was just a reference. Let's get back to John Donne. Why I'm feeling that you are not having energy? ऐसा लग रहा है low energy है. चलो ठीक है. Tell me, who will tell me the names of university wits? All the university wits. Kapil, chalo you go. Kapil do. 7. कितना हुआ? आप सबके एक बुक बताओ. सबकी एक बुक. It should be on tips. और रिवाइज करो इस तरह से फास्टेस्ट. 7 यूनिवर्सिटी विद 7 वर्क्स. किसी को नहीं आ रहा? This side 7 यूनिवर्सिटी विद 7 वर्क्स. गुड. चलो जॉन डन पे आ जाओ. जाने दो. लेट्स फिनिश सिलेबस. ऐसे पढ़ोगे. इफ यू आर गोइंग टू स्टडी लाइक दिस, यू डोंट नो 7 authors, 7 names of the books, and then what I'm expecting is that they are going to crack JRF. There are 700 authors left. ऐसे पढ़ोगे. Nobody is revising. कोई नहीं कर रहा होगा revision, right? I'm just asking 7 university with 7 books. मैं तो ये भी नहीं बोल रहा हूँ 7 connection with Shakespeare क्या है, 7 inspirations of Shakespeare क्या है. तो आप लोग रिवाइज नहीं कर रहे इसका मतलब. If you are forgetting these things, and then you will say, oh, paper was tough. No, paper is not tough. You are not preparing well. Isn't it a repeated question in class? In many of my rapid fires, I have asked this. Did you ever think that I could not answer, so next day I'll be the one to answer this? Where is your competitive spirit? आपके साथ वाला कोई आंसर कर रहा है, आपने नहीं किया, तो this is the homework. अगले दिन आपको करना है. You should do that. No, I wanted it immediately. ऐसा नहीं ना कि okay, sir will motivate me, then only I will lighten up, and then only I'll answer. No. Let's go for John then. Leave it. जाने दो. So the next poetry that we have to deal with, Go and Catch a Falling Star, we have done. Sun Rising, we have done. Who will tell me all the signals in, all the impossible tasks in Go and Catch a Falling Star? चलो, कौन बताएगा? Raise your hand. Don't see the class. You go? Go. Good. Good. You're trying at least. और कौन करेगा? Fastest. Nandini. Unsolved mythologies. Unsolved mythology. Who cleft devil's food? Check it in your notebook. Check करो सभी अभी. If you can keep the order, it's good. At least remember those names. So if they make it very tough, they'll go for the exact order. So anybody can mess up in the exam. Exact order, I know it's not that easy to remember, but at least remember the points. The poetry is creating curiosity that you can get a child from Mandrake Road, you can catch a comet, you can hear the mermaid singing, you can see the invisible things, you can talk about time travel, you can tell where the past years are gone, who has cleft devil's foot. Then you can ride with a horse on a horse for 10,000 days and 10,000 nights. So there are 6 to 7 impossibilities that he says it's possible. They will not give you the questions only for A, B, C, D. They can give you question A, B, C, D, E, F, and pick the right pair. So in the options you will have A, B, and D is right. B, D, E is right. Then what will you do? So they'll say, and out of all these 7 impossibilities, which one is not given? Then, so you have to revise these things. Fine. Chalo, let's go for the another poetry. The next one is again very important one. This is Death Be Not Proud. John Donne is known for his love poems. Some of his poetries are called eroticas. Then some of these philosophy, or some of these poetries have philosophy. Another famous work that we are going to deal with is Death Be Not Proud. See, Death Be Not Proud is one of the finest work written by him, and also has a great philosophy. A philosophy about death. We are scared of death. We all are scared of death. We don't want to die. Sometimes we are scared for ourselves. Sometimes we are scared for our duties to be done for others. We don't want to die. But what if you just take this as a nap, a sleep? Death is nothing but a sleep. Then, if you believe in religious philosophies or religious doctrines, the soul never dies. Atma amar hai. ऐसा पढ़ा है ना आपने? So if it is the journey of the soul, body is just a medium, so why to be scared if the body is not there? If we are born out of the soil and we mix up in the soil, what's wrong? It's okay. It's a part of life. We had our roles, like Shakespeare says, entrances and exits. So if we have our entrances and exits, what's wrong? But then we are scared of death. We don't want to die because of our emotions, our materialistic emotions, mohamaya. John Donne deals with death and says that people call you scary. People call you dreadful, mighty. You are scary, you are mighty, you are strong. But for me, you are not this. He's talking to death and says that you are nothing but a short sleep. He compares death with this. They can ask you a phrase, what lines he actually uses. He says you are nothing but a short sleep. सिर्फ नींद है, it is just a sleep, सोना ही तो है. When we say rest in peace, so we are calling it rest. It's a rest, it's a sleep. One short sleep. So his approach towards death, again he is talking to death as a friend. This style is called conversational style. Conversational style. In conversational style, poet talks to the object as a friend, as a known, as a person in front of him. In a conversational style, poet talks to the person in a very friendly style, colloquial style, direct conversation. No preface, no godly references, just conversation. So just write down these 2-3 lines. If you want to write exact quotation, then I'll have to check my notes, because exact wordings I don't remember. He says, death, be not proud, though some have called thee dreary, scary, dreadful, but thou art not so. So I'll make you write down this line. Okay, आप घमंड मत करो, आप कुछ भी नहीं हो, you are nothing. The first line is, death, be not proud, though some have called thee. Though some have called thee. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee. Though some have called thee mighty, dreadful, mighty and dreadful. Death, be not proud, though some have called thee mighty and dreadful. Though some have called thee mighty and dreadful. But thou art not so, but you are not that, but thou art not so. So first thing, his approach towards death is clear. In the lines, he says, I'm not scared of you. Because he says, it may be scary for others. Some people call you powerful, the mightiest one, because the death can never be defeated. But thou art not so. Now he talks about death and tells where death lies. So where was death in Canterbury Tales, Partner's Tale? Under the oak tree. Here he tells us other options. Write down this line. Thou art slave to fate. Thou art slave to fate. He says, you are a slave. Thou art slave to fate, chance, and kings, and do dwell. Thou art slave to fate, chance, and kings, and do dwell with poison, war, and sickness. With poison, war, and sickness. What does क्या बताओगे बताओ इसका what does that mean क्या meaning है इसका tell me पहली बात तो where do we find death poison war sickness so what they will do they'll simply say according to John Donne death can be found here 4 options pick the odd one out or pick the right pair so according to John Donne death can be traced, death can be found. What is the easiest way to find death? Poison. Isn't it easy? अच्छी क्वालिटी का रेड पॉइजन ट्राई करो. That's an example, not a suggestion. Poison. Poison करो अपने आप डेथ आ जाएगी कहीं से भी बुलाओ डेथ will come to you. You want to call death? Get poison. आ जाएगा. Then war. So war will result in death, the killings. You want death? Start a war. एक मिसाइल डाल दो दूसरी कंट्री पे देखो फिर. So isn't it tough to, is it really easy to find death, right? Isn't it? Sickness. What if you are actually ill? You have caught some serious epidemic, serious disease. So death was there, death was visible. So first thing he says, we can call you, we can summon you, we can find you. We know where you are. अब दूसरी चीज, death is not powerful, you are slave. And death is slave of fate. Fate is bad luck. One day you have bad luck. This is how it works, right? Bad luck. You have seen many accidents. They don't know this is going to this, happen this. Or bad luck. There are bad luck like this. There is a famous writer, Singapore's famous author, Bonnie Hicks. Once a supermodel, then an author. We will teach this writer in postmoderns, Bonnie Hicks. The famous work, excuse me, are you a model? That's a work. Work का नाम क्या है? Excuse me, are you a model? So, she's a famous one, postmodern author, deals with chick literature and other things. Why I'm taking the example of Bonnie Hicks for fate. So Bonnie Hicks was not in good terms with her husband. Husband was a pilot. She was in the same plane with her another lover, where the pilot was her ex-husband. So what about the others who were traveling? Ex-husband was the pilot. She was with the new lover in the same plane, and the pilot crashed it. From 28,000 feet, he just brought the plane nose down, crashed it knowingly. What was the fault of others? Husband-wife issue. Others. That's fate. Kismat kharab. Bonnie Hicks was identified by her wallet. They all died and their bodies got burnt. So just telling you the reference, see, one issue, husband-wife issue, it could have been solved in a house, but then it got sorted out in a plane. Plane crash. There are examples of plane crash in literature. Michel Ondaatje's English Patient has a plane crash. A lover pilot tries to kill his wife by crashing a plane over her. So there's references. Chance is destiny. If it is written for you that you'll die in war. Fate and chance, technically they are same things. Kings. So who was the one who would give death sentence? So if the king got annoyed, and those kings, because at that time there were no courts, no mercy petitions. So you try to serve good food to king, but then you've forgotten to add the salt, and the king says, kill him. What can you do? So technically death is slave, death can be found, and plus who are you? The line is one short sleep and we wake up eternally. This line is very important. One short sleep and we wake up eternally. One short sleep and we wake up eternally. So death is nothing but a short sleep. Once we are in the grave, it's a short sleep. We have to wait and we wake eternally. Now waking up eternally, what does that mean? सिर्फ थोड़ी देर के लिए मैं सोना है. We have to sleep for some time. Then we wake up. The concept in Islam and Christianity, that if you are in the graves, you are waiting for the arrival of the God. On the judgment day, God will come. So, that's called Armageddon in Christianity. Here they're talking about judgment day. So judgment day is a concept that God will come to earth and all the people from graves, they will rise. And God will do the justice according to their works, hell, heaven, and the people who will go to heaven will follow God. So death is just a resting place. You are waiting for your time to come. The God will come and you will rise from your graves. And God will do the justice. That will be the end of the earth. And then we all will return to our places, maybe hell or heaven. So the idea of judgment day. Okay? Clear? Any confusion? Any questions? So, this is the beauty of metaphysical style. He's talking to death as a friend and telling the death itself that you must be scared. Why would I be scared? Who are you? Nobody. सोचो कभी death से कोई ऐसे बात कर रहा हो. Imagine. They were used to be scared of. They used to praise the gods that no, we don't want to die. Mahamrityunjay mantra, nahi pad marna hai abhi. And he says, who are you? Yeah, just nothing but a short sleep. This is the metaphysical approach, a new kind of thought, far-fetched imagery. And what does he say at the end? When we all wake and we all go to the eternity, who is left on earth? Nobody. Mortals are not there. All the human beings are gone. So when there is nobody left to die, then who will die? This is the last line. He said, death, thou shalt die. Death, thou shalt die. See, these are the most important ones. That's why I'm elaborating. Assertion, reason kind of questions can be asked from these famous works. They are the classical works, world classics. Some poetry which are not important, we can just talk about basic things. But these are the important ones. So they can either go for quotations or they will make questions from those lines. Where can we find death? Okay, these are the options. Where death is called slave of, these are the options. Why he calls it a sleep only? Because he's taking the reference of judgment day, then after that we'll all return. According to John, then how death will die? Because once we are back to heaven and hell, no mortal is on earth. There is nobody, no subject for death. Death is going to kill someone whom? जब कोई बचा ही नहीं तो किसको मारोगे? तो डेथ की वैलिडिटी खत्म हो जाएगी फिर डेथ की जरूरत नहीं है तो डेथ thou shalt die. This is metaphysical. Imagine वो डेथ को बोल रहा तुम मर जाओगे, तुम अपना देखो. It's the power of pain, right? Go for next one. This one is most important. If they ask questions from this one, either you will answer or those who are in top universities and have studied post-colonials. This one is very important. Elegy on his mistress going to bed. This is mostly not added in your syllabus because this is the part of erotica. Erotica poetries are the poetries which deal with explicit intimate scenes or sexual scenes. They are portrayed. So these kind of things are not added in Indian or the Asian university syllabus, but these poetries are there. So this one is one of the example of erotica. Flea is also the example of erotica. Erotica and philosophy दोनों mixed हैं यहाँ पे. Got it? So there are some scenes, some descriptions which are not good for the different context, different countries, different structures. So mostly in India and Asia, they avoid this poetry in the syllabus. But then this has been studied from post-colonial point of view. It is also in the syllabus of UPSC. ये UPSC English के syllabus में है. Elegy on his mistress going to bed. So simple narration is that there is a lover. He is going to make love to his girl. The girl is shy. So he's asking her to undress. When she is undressing, he's talking about the body parts and narrating the details. Then he also shows his command over her, control over her. He says, I'm the one to explore you, so I'm lucky. Yes, somebody, I have that privilege. How this has been studied from post-colonial point of view. If we go for simple narration, this is purely erotica. If we go for a narration where we have to find out one colonizer, one colony, this is the finest example of post-colonials. So यहाँ पे क्या है? Lover is the colonizer. Lover जो है, या जो poet himself, he's the one who's called colonizer. Beloved is colony. So before we proceed, who will tell me what is colonizer and colony? कौन बताएगा? नहीं, forget Britishers. Don't talk about Britishers. Tell me what is colonizer. Suppose this is you. Okay. I know you have a human shape. This example. This is you. This is someone else. But then by money, by power, by thought process, by psychological process, he tries to control you and puts his ideas on your brain, makes you behave like him because he has the gun. He is the powerful person. That's colonization. Putting your ideas in someone's brain, making others behave like you, making others do like you. That's colonization. If somebody wants you to behave like that person, it's colonization. Somebody tells you that if you want to be with me, live like this. There's a line in English, love me, love my dog. So that's colonization. Got it? In simple words. Anybody who tries to put his identity, his mindset on you, that's colonization. And the one who is being targeted, that's colony. It started with explorations, islands, no man. Somebody would come, have a flag, okay. Next day, they would have some seeds, plantation. Okay, who are you? It was a colony. It was just an island. But then someone came with his ideas, his cultural practices, his mindset, his dream, his approach, and laid all those things on that colony. So colony and the colonizer. Do you know, you must have seen Africans? How do you find Africans? So let's have this question. Whom do you call an African? 6 feet and all, pure black, heavy lips, curly hair. This is the problem of world. You go to South Africa, you'll find all the white Africans. South Africa is Africa, but no blacks. All whites. The settlers are there. They're called settlers. Now we call them the colonizers. They're called settlers. They have settled the colonies. So you go to South Africa, Amiron ka party place, Amiron ka Goa. They have yachts and other things, clubs. So South Africa is Africa, but there is no African who's black. They're all white, and they also have the African national identity. Then how do you know that's not an African? Because we are also having racism. We have identified races. Okay, नहीं समझ में आया? The white settlers, it is the bad luck of Africa. It is the bad luck of Africa that by 18th century, a shepherd found a raw diamond, natural state. He was with his flock and they were just roaming around, grazing around. He found some stone, shining stone. He went to some other one, then it reached to someone else. They started questioning, where did you find that? Oh sir, this is Kimberley. The mines for diamonds. सभी अंग्रेजों को पता चल गया डायमंड है चलो 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 कर लिया कब्जा अंग्रेजों ने ट्रेन्स बना दी सब बना दी अंग्रेजों को उठाया then now Africa white South Africa is the white Africa Nadine Gordimer is the white African white woman. So the thing is like it was an island, it was a country, it was a unpolluted, unbiased kind of state. Someone came and started putting the ideas. We are colonized. We are colonized. If you're scared of English, you take English not as a language but a class, we are colonized. If you judge people on their English, we are colonized. If you judge people on their phonetic accent or their grammatical accents or grammatical errors, we are colonized. It's just a language. आपके सामने कोई हिंदी गलत बोलता है, हम उसको बुरा मानते हैं क्या? हम बोलते हैं अरे कैसा है यार तुझे हिंदी नहीं आती है? नहीं बोलते ना. इंग्लिश गलत बोले तो? Many of you can speak in English. Many of you told me when we were talking to you, sir, I have words in my mind, I have lines in my mind, I can't speak. Because the first thing is that fear of being judged. Anglophilia bolte hain isko. It's just a language. We are typically colonized. This is the idea here. So there is a girl, the boy is bringing his ideas, his approach. So girl is the colony. The good thing is that he himself will give us many reasons to connect it to post-colonials. So let's go for some lines. Let's go for these lines. So first thing, you can write down this point also, that the work was rejected by publishers for its obscenity. This is also on record. The initial publications did not publish the work because of its obscenity. The work was rejected for its obscenity. So we are not going for the opening lines. We have opening lines, come madam, come, all rest my powers defy. We are going for the lines where we directly have post-colonial connections. Write down the lines. We have to write down all the lines. License my roving hands. License my roving hands. He's asking her that I want to touch you. So my hands are going to rove. I want your permission. But it's not a word permission. It's not a word touch or something like that. The post-colonial reference, license. Ships used to take license. Ships going for explorations. So using the word license, he simply says that allow me to touch you. But the lines are license, roving. Roving is related to sailing. पानी में जो आप ऐसे नाव चलाते हैं, so that's called rowing. So first line, he talks about a kind of that he's going to explore. He's the ship captain. He's asking for the license. Hands are like those harpoons, rowing hands. License my rowing hands.